good evening from the heart of flyover country. It's time to play Without Rule of Law. I'm your master of ceremonies, Bobby Spags, here to introduce you to our undisputed, world-renowned, top-secret panel. Riverside Will! Our man in the chair, Kyle! And your host, Patrick Henry! And now it's time to play Without Rule of Law, the card game that gets you navigating the unthinkable and asks, can you brave a world beyond law? Take it away, Patrick Henry.
Well, good evening, ladies and squirrels, boys and toys. Here we are, another fabulous evening. I am your man in the chair, and this is my co-host and cohort.
I am Bobby Spags.
Sergeant Spags of the Spags clan. And as you see,
we are here to judge you harshly.
or softly, depending on how you like it.
I'm not that kind of guy.
He's a gentle guy. And so, in the background, we have our one and only
Stop it.
Corporal Kyle!
Yay!
Kyle is a corporate actor. No, he's not. He's not a cop. He'd have to tell you if he is a cop. Also, in the background, we have our very own Riverside Will. Hey,
Will.
I'm the youngest judge. I have the shortest wig.
It's okay. It's okay.
You're colonial. You're from the States. It's all good.
It's all good, brother. It's all
We
good.
don't have British accents, so we're good.
It's not the size of the wig, it's the motion of the gavel.
Our special guest tonight.
Ooh, who is our special guest this evening, Corporal Kyle?
It is the one and only.
Oh! Ooh, Miss Harris and Jesse. Jesse's hiding. If you look in the
He'll be back
background,
in a
he's somewhere in
moment.
the photo.
He is coming. He is coming. I promise.
It's Callie and Jesse squared.
He's not hiding in the trees or the mushrooms behind.
He's in here somewhere.
Jesse
He's
is
in
in the
all the
magic
mushrooms.
mushroom forest, finding his way here.
Is this like those pictures from the 90s where you had to squint and the 3D picture would pop out at you?
Yes, look, there he is. I see him. He's sitting on the mushroom. Why does he look like the Cheshire Cat? What is going on?
I have no idea what this show's even about right now. Why don't you tell us, Mr.
Gonna
Patrick
find
Henry?
out.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are here this evening to play a fantastic evening of Without Rule of Law, the game where there's no rules because we're
preppers. We do what we want.
We're preppers and we do what we want.
Yes.
This game is going to lead you down the path of bad choices, good choices, moral choices, vetting, compartmentalization, all of the things that you want to find out before you have to find out in the middle of the apocalypse. So let's go ahead and get started. Well, Callie, do we want to wait for Jesse? Is Jesse?
No, don't wait for him. No.
Just going to jump in?
Why don't we ask Julie why she's our special guest and let her introduce herself?
Oh my
And
goodness.
do all of the bona fides.
How rude.
Oh my goodness.
How dare you?
Oh my goodness, Callie, why don't you do the thing?
Do the thing. Okay, I'll do the thing real quick while my husband eventually comes back. So, my name's Callie, and I am English, and I live in America now, and I've been here for a little while, and so basically, I am the mother of a child who, about 15 years ago, was diagnosed with cancer. Then he was diagnosed with cancer again, became the only person in the entire world. And after all of the allopathic medicine and everything that the professionals had to offer him, they ended up saying they had nothing else to give him, and he was given 3 days to live. At 14 years old, I took him to a hospice. I planned his funeral, and in a last-ditch attempt just to kind of give him the death that he wanted, I snuck him weed. I snuck him cannabis, and he didn't die. He's 25 now, and I then wrote a book. I do what I want, and I wrote a book about it called The Boy in 7 Billion, and I then became the most well-known cannabis activist in the UK. And I've spoken at the UN in Geneva. I've spoken all over Europe in parliaments and stuff. And I was trying to get reform for cannabis basically in the UK until I realized that Big Pharma was going to do what they want and I wasn't going to change a damn thing. So I figured I'd just do what I do best and help people that come to me who want my help. And that's what I've been doing for about 11 years, helping people that need my help. and educating against, prohibition.
Did the people in Parliament look as stupid as we do?
Are you coming on? They've been waiting for you. No, he's fine.
Oh, she's laying down the law.
Callie, would you like to borrow the gavel, dear?
Yes, please.
Jesse!
There he is in the mushroom.
Wait, wrong show.
They were looking for you in the mushrooms. They figured you were in there somewhere. So well,
That's
mostly
usually
him.
where I am.
Interestingly enough, Jesse the Body Ventura was a conspiracy theorist as well.
He had a TV show for a while called Conspiracy Files, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Was there? Is that American
Oh.
thing?
Yeah.
Oh. Don't talk to him about TV.
Yeah,
He has no
references.
idea.
I don't
He's
get
governor of Wisconsin. He was a center-leaning Democrat, but he went into like all sorts of conspiracy theories on this TV show forever. And even as the governor, he always played it up. I'm the governor of the state of Wisconsin, and Plum Island is denying me nautical access to their island, because he went out to Plum Island on a boat to try to see what was going on. It was hilarious.
Amazing.
He had David Icke on a show. That was a hilarious exchange.
He was
Oh,
a
David
good,
Icke,
he was a good
yeah.
dude. He was entertaining.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Yeah, he's been
No.
around a long time.
Yeah.
You know?
We're playing without rule of law tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I have selected a very, very robust group of questions for us to play with this evening, along with a couple of special questions that are going to tingle in the right places and mingle in the wrong places.
Oh. Wait a minute. This is not that kind of show, sir.
Yummy.
I object.
Yeah, we're preppers. We do what we want.
That's right. We make our own roads.
And as we get started, I figured let's start with the inevitable. World War III. That's where we're at. We're fixing to invade Canada and make it the 51st state. Is that right? Is that what I heard?
That's what I heard.
That's what I
We just
hear.
changed it to the Gulf of America, and now we're renaming Canada to it's like Wisconsin Light.
Ooh, Northern Maine.
Ooh, yeah, Northern Maine. I like this.
Detroit
Northern
too.
Maine.
You know,
Man, this is not a good idea in any potential way.
I mean,
North Dakota.
Justin Bieber if we annex Canada.
I don't know.
On with the question, good sir.
Yes.
The people demand it.
Questions. Okay, so World War III has begun. Your country. Let's start with Kyle. I'm going to lean on Kyle first.
Uh-oh.
I want your answer, Kyle.
Okay.
World War III has begun. Your country is under attack. You have the opportunity to join the resistance. However, this would mean you leave your family vulnerable. Do you fight or do you prioritize their safety? What do you do?
It depends on whether or not I believe in what they're fighting for.
You're fighting for your freedom. Your country's under attack.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Fighting for my freedom is yeah. Are they coming and knocking on my door, or are they off the coast of New York flying drones?
I'm assuming this is probably a Ukraine and Russia type scenario.
Oh, well, then it's way over there, so they can have the resistance.
But here, so like say you're Canadian and we want to make you the 51st state.
Oh, what's that about?
Canadian bacon and maple syrup, eh?
I don't know. I think I would prioritize family first in local community. I don't think I would want to go fight someone else's war. Freedom is a little more local and personal. Yeah, that'd be my answer.
That's fair. That's fair. Will, what do you got? Where are you going and why?
The backbone of a good resistance is local community. I think that if you just abandon, like if there were sufficient groups already handling it, it might change my answer, like locally. But I think the prioritization of local is significant, because if you abandon that, you will have you'll gut your movement effectively.
I think it also it depends on how personal or how direct the attack is on your freedom. I mean, you have folks like Samuel Whitmore in the Revolutionary War who were directly affected by the by the attacks of the British. No offense, Kelly.
Oh
But,
God, that was going to happen
but-
tonight.
Well, you know.
Order!
He was one of the dangerous old men. He was known as Death on a Pale Horse, and but he was directly affected by the attacks of the British, and he took great offense to it. So he left his family, and he went on the offensive. I think that there's a balance to that. I would say local.
Jesse, what are you going to do? Are you going to leave Callie and the puppy? You going to join the resistance?
Shut up.
Whoa.
The puppy said no.
I doubt it.
So
You got to take the tank.
He's a lot
And
prettier.
Puppy seems to have a very strong opinion about this.
Yeah.
Puppy, what do you think, Puppy?
Yeah, but I've got something to say. 'Cause Puppy's now showing himself up. Should.
Tank is very, very outspoken.
I guess
He's
Jesse's
usually
going to
so
join the
quiet. It's
resistance.
like, why are you showing me up now? Like, why are you doing this to me? Like, don't work with animals and children.
I guess
Oh.
Jesse's going to join the resistance.
Tank and Jesse
He's
right
like,
off
no.
the resistance.
All right, so now I guess Callie has to answer.
Callie?
So there would have been a time where I would have been in the resistance, like in a heartbeat, because and where I am right now, because my kids are old enough, my kids could come with me. Although my eldest is like not very capable, but there's always something he could do. I obviously come from Europe, and as do all of you eventually, like if you go far back enough. But I come from recent Europe, and my
Speak for
grandfather was
yourself,
actually.
colonizer.
We colonized over there at one point, I'm sure. But my Polish grandfather was actually in the resistance. He was in the Polish resistance, and then he was in the French resistance as a translator. And he left his entire family and came across Europe. So, like, there was a point that's in my blood. But where I'm at now, I actually agree with Kyle and with Will in that the true resistance is in community and self-sustainability. Because because we can't change what's going on in the outside world. We can only change us. And by changing us and what we do, it kind of ripples out. And so community, that's like Will said, that's the backbone. If there's community and we're all taking care of each other, that is real resistance, because you're kind of not untouchable, but if it turned up right on my doorstep, I got an AR-15, like, it didn't happen, you know, if it turned up right on my doorstep. But I do think building community, having some kind of structure and foundation, because eventually war will be over. And if there's no structure because it's all gone to shit, then, like, you know, so that's kind of where I'm at now.
Sergeant Spack?
Dog.
Well, I would say that everyone here is correct. I was in the Army for 16 years, and the difference between resistance movements and armies is resistance movements do not have resupply. And I think the quickest way for would-be gods and tyrants is to get the local people to leave their communities to go fight for the grand scheme over there instead of staying with your community local. And so I would absolutely agree. I watched the United States take 22 years, billions of dollars, and hundreds of thousands of lives to replace the Taliban with the Taliban. And so I think we can honestly say that local resistant movements are far more effective than sending everyone to one state to go fight the enemy you've never met.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is that the old tactics of lining up across from each other and firing volleys of lead balls is not effective?
No, it's not effective. It's not even effective in Ukraine. Everything is drones. I mean, if you want to go off and fight that and become disfigured within 5 minutes, be my guest. I would much rather fight with the idea of information and ideology locally. And then if you have to become physical locally, you do it locally.
PSA, children, don't join. Never mind.
Yeah, movement.
It did.
I mean, shit. They're making transgender festivals in Uganda. So
I mean, yeah. Wait a minute. That brings up a question. Does this revolution have USAID funding? Oh, I'm in. I'm going to have $1 billion to go make an opera somewhere.
is there heads on the end of that? Did Fauci start that one?
Yes.
Was
in the
it
80s.
USAID?
Yes, that was Fauci.
There was laundering somewhere.
Behave.
That's what all wars are about, is money laundering. So, like, it's going to happen.
True story. True story. Those are fantabulous answers. I think all of them are correct. You all pass this time.
Make it so.
Judgment has been declared.
Judgment has been passed. Moving on. Now that you're a part of a small group of survivors, a nuclear war has ensued.
Oh man, that escalated quickly.
Good thing you didn't join the resistance because they were all wiped out. Resources are now scarce and the tensions are very high. One member of your group suspiciously is injured and needs medical attendance. Do you risk going after medicine in a dangerous area, or do you leave them behind and go save someone else? What do you do, Will?
The word suspiciously is curious.
Yeah.
How convenient was this injury?
Have you ever seen Shane in The Walking Dead? You familiar with that character?
Yeah. Is this so? Let me just recap. One person in our group is injured, and my options are either A, pursue helping that person, or B, pursue helping other people.
Going out and rescuing people in the void of the nuclear apocalypse and helping them, or helping this one mysteriously, curiously injured person in your group.
I know what I do.
Long pork.
I know. I think I know where our guest is going with this.
You might do. You also might not. I like.
There might be alternative medicines involved. I feel potentially.
Potentially.
Allegedly.
I guess it's going to depend on one, how well do I know this person, and two, how convenient is their injury? Because it kind of sounds like this person might be either A, fibbing, or B, the injury is manufactured in some way. In either case, like if my gut feeling is telling me that another person in my group is either manufacturing or faking an injury for whatever purpose or means that they may have, that's not a person. That's a person I already don't trust. So I don't necessarily think it's worth my time going out of my way into danger to, especially when like suspicion will lead to further suspicion. The next suspicion in the line of suspicion is, how did this occur? Second thought is the intention of me going out to get whatever they need to ambush, trap, put me in a position where they can, do whatever they intend to do. So I think unless it can be secured without additional danger incurrence, I would probably say I'd have to skip helping them and pursue helping others.
I think that's fair. We will allow that answer this time, Will.
Sorry.
Would you say you'd shoot them in the face?
Not this time. No.
It's always an option.
I might, we might take their boots and tell them to start walking in that direction, though. We might do the cowboy solution.
Sergeant Spags?
The use of the word of conveniently being injured makes me think that if they have a new form of staph infection due to an over-exaggerated hangnail, that they're just shit out of luck. That's what I would say. Sorry about your luck, buddy. I'm going to go serve the greater good at this point.
Take care with your ass boils. I'm out of here.
I'm very much of the same opinion. I would say go cover your own ass boils.
Kyle's, that's fair. Jesse, you dodged the last question. At boil, or are you going to help someone else?
I'd probably go with helping someone else. Just because, suspicious injury and all, it's like, all right, if it's a kind of suspicious circumstance in that regard, I'm not going to put myself in a, potentially knowingly, dangerous situation with someone that I may or may not trust. Depends on the degree of trust within that individual. I don't know that I'd waste a bullet on them. I wouldn't do that.
Every decision is an economic decision.
True story.
That's why I said take the boots.
Well, I'll just take a note from her book and choke it out.
Yes, like the goat.
Oh no!
I had to go there.
Oh, I had to go there.
Order in the court! Order in the court! Order in the court!
Oh God, we just got canceled.
No, we were doing fine until you brought up goat choking.
I think we have a story that needs to be told.
Is tonight the goat choking?
I think tonight's a goat choking. I think Callie needs to explain what her husband is throwing her under the bus about.
Jesse, why don't you explain for her in a very nondescript way and say it like incorrectly?
Yes, mansplaining.
Oh, that's easily done.
Please mansplain.
Could you explain choking goats?
Not choking chickens around here. Let's go.
Oh my. Those are so much easier. Just
Yeah.
grab the neck.
Yeah. That's what-
We had a whole
Yeah, the
demonstration
ones that
about that
fall
just a
taller
few
than
months
goats.
back.
We did.
Yeah.
Are you going to tell a story? Or do you want me to tell a story?
Well, they asked me to.
Oh, go on then.
Well,
Go on.
so basically, she adopted a bunch of goats when she was living in Hungary, and the neighbor ended up throwing some shit over the fence that like seemed to poison them, and one by one they started knocking off, and then there was two left.
Two left, yeah.
Two left, and the one was doing really bad. She ended up calling a vet to come around and take a look at it. He was like, "There's no point." He literally picked it up and dropped it on the ground because it wouldn't even put its legs out or anything. And then, her ex-husband was a punk ass bitch and wouldn't do the job that he said he would do. And so she ended up going down there, and instead of, she didn't have a gun or anything in a foreign country.
Didn't know how to
And
stab it.
Didn't feel comfortable with a knife and going stabby, even though she is British. Like, you figured you'd be okay with the stabby. But no, that's not how that went down.
Oh, cut, stab.
Yeah. Stab, twist.
That's after they fired their only one bullet.
I didn't hear that.
Say what?
So that's after they fired their only one bullet out of the musket. Then they stabbed.
That's it. It just went dunk.
Yeah.
Wow.
So she ended up having to go down in the garden, and
And because I've done
of her,
jujitsu.
because of her experience, I'm telling the story
Sorry.
here, lady.
Hey.
Callie, you let him mansplain your story for you.
So she goes down there, and she's, trying to be as sweet and cuddly as possible, and just gives it
Really
the extra,
cuddly.
like that extra bit of cuddle, like it's just so good that you can't breathe. And then,
I'm gonna apply my jujitsu.
and then
Yes.
she ended up letting it go a little bit too soon, and she had to cuddle it again really hard because it took a massive breath in and was like, I'm not dead. And then she was like, oh shit, no, you're not dead. No, come back into the cuddle realm.
Oh
Until it
no.
was done.
Yeah, no more cuddling.
Wow.
No more cuddling for that goat.
And Tag takes the piss all the time and is like, you didn't feel confident with a knife, so you chose to choke it out. And I was like, listen, I was a bouncer for 7 years. I know how to choke things out. I'm confident with these. This is no. Like, no. So, yeah, it worked. It did the job. Like, he's not here anymore.
Eventually.
He's long been in someone's palate since then.
He was dispatched.
He was dispatched
Yeah.
with a cuddle.
He was dispatched with a cuddle. It was the
Scruggle snuggles.
coital embrace.
Okay, I think you need to pass judgment and move to the next question, sir, before this spirals into control.
Order. Okay, continuing on. Let's move to another topic, shall we? Let's move to authoritarian governments under a non-Cheeto dictator. An authoritarian government has taken over your country. They control every aspect of your life and suppress dissent with hate. You have a chance to join a secret rebellion yet again. Do you risk your life, your freedom, or do you conform and survive? Let's
Oh,
go
I'm
with
rebelling.
you again,
I'm
Riverside
rebelling and
Will.
surviving.
What are you going to do, Riverside Will?
Twice in a row.
Yeah.
Okay. Dictator controls everything. As an American, not a fan. Not gonna do that. I'm good. Boss.
So are you gonna join the resistance and the rebellion?
Yeah, I'll go die. That's cool.
All right,
I
that's easy.
live free or die. I mean, there's
Live free or die.
It's I'm not a fan of that. I'm not gonna go just let someone tell me everything that I can do and can't do.
Callie, what are you gonna do?
I will die on my feet rather than live on my knees.
Live free or die.
Yeah, I would rather die because honestly, like if you're not doing that and you're under a dictatorship, then you might as well be dead anyway. So like there are worse things than death, and that to me is one of them. So yeah, I'm in.
That's a beautiful answer. We're all going to die eventually. It's did you live and did you live well?
Yeah, and quality of life is most important. It's not about how long we're here. It's about what we do while we're here. And it's if you're not living, then you may as well be dead. You're already dead at that point. So
true, you're dead inside, and you might as well be dead physically as well.
Yep, for sure. And yeah, the rebellion does sound much more fun.
They have cake and pie.
Oh, I'm definitely sold.
Oh yeah, if they have cookies, it's all over. I'm over there, dude.
I think I know what Sergeant Spags is going to say, but what are you going to do, Sergeant Spags? Are you going to join the rebellion, or are you going to conform?
Conformity is for losers, first and foremost, even in non-austere times.
Ooh.
So I have always been against the grain. Even when I was in the military, I was against the grain. I got in trouble all the time because I just wouldn't do what I was told, and I would let my soldiers get away with things that no one else did. I found it to be a very good way to live, and I continue to live in that manner today. I don't like to be told what to do by bullies, and I certainly would rather die on my feet, as Callie said, than live on my knees. And all forms of conformity are still conformity, and you are the one who will have to live with the failure of your masculinity at that point.
Amen. Well said, brother. Well said.
Or femininity in the case of Callie.
Hey.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to be all inclusive.
Hey, she's probably got as much testosterone as you do, bro. Calm down.
You don't hear what she's doing, my gender.
You're about the size of a goat.
a very small Nubian goat.
He is a goat. Traceable toy.
Look at my waddles. Look at my waddles.
Kyle, are you going to conform, or are you going to stay free and die?
Oh God, his knees have gone out. He can't do anything. He can't even make a decision.
Oh no!
Come on, man.
Joe Biden's in the house, guys.
Oh no! Oh no!
In the words of our when they take our land, but they will never take our free.
Order!
Another country we're trying to take.
I think it's time for us to invade Hawaii again. Man, I'm pumped up right now.
Where's TJ? We need there.
Hey, Local America? That's right. Guess what's next?
Greenland.
We're going to change it to Whiteland.
Wait a minute. Yeah, I'm down. That's cool.
All right.
I have nothing to say about that.
Moving on before we get canceled again. So this authoritarian government offers you a position of power if you agree to collaborate, like that little piece of shit in Red Dawn. This would give you access to resources and protect your family, like that piece of shit in Red Dawn. But it would also mean betraying your values, your friends, and the survival group that's hiding in a cave in a really, really sweet blazer with the top cut off, fighting the fucking communists with... Anyways.
Like that piece of shit in Red Dawn?
No, like the cool people in Red Dawn.
Oh, no, the cool people have the cave in Red Dawn.
Do you accept the offer? Or do you fight and die? What are you going to do, Jesse?
What are you going to do about it?
Mania runs all the way.
Another question.
A little bit. It kind of cut out a little bit. Can you repeat the question?
Yeah. So this same government, this authoritarian government, wants to offer you power if you basically punk out on your friends and you conform and become a snitch and you like give up the goose and you like look.
I think I would fight and thrive because I'm not about fighting and dying. I'd rather fight and thrive.
Okay.
Oh, I like that answer.
Okay.
There you go.
Tank likes that answer as well.
Yes.
Tank's going to go in the bin.
What about you, Spags? You gonna pretend conform?
I think I'm going to play devil's advocate on this one just to be different because we've all been agreeing so far, and there's nothing fun about that. What if, just what if, you could conform openly just enough to get into that position of power and then redirect resources to the rebellion and be the guy on the inside? For every Luke Skywalker who's getting his hand cut off, and frankly, nobody likes Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker's the weakest character. He's the worst character. But everyone likes Han Solo. And Han Solo is the guy that flies under the radar, not taking a side. And well, he beat the record of jumping the Millennium Falcon in so many parsecs.
Yeah.
And he eventually becomes the hero of the whole story because Luke Skywalker gets his hand cut off and Han Solo ends up with Princess Leia, which is what every single nerd wants to do. So maybe, just maybe, there are times to ride the fence, play the part, and be the double agent. As an Italian in World War II, Mussolini...
You did a lot of that, didn't you?
That's what the Italians did. We're not good at fighting anything. We make it the wine and the cheese and the chef Boyardee. We don't know how to fight war.
You do.
You know, so what did we do? We played the double agent a lot. Just saying.
And then you became the mob.
You do realize Han Solo's son became a whiny little bastard and murdered him on a bridge, right?
Well, he's too busy to be a good dad. What can I say?
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. It's fair. Will, you look like you want to say something.
This is sophisticated colonial.
Come on, Powder Rebellion.
He's
We're
got
part of the rebellion.
I've
I've been caught. They put a gun to my head. They said, "You've been caught. Join our team or die." Can you really go back to the rebellion after that? Because whether or not you conform to being their agent, you're working as their agent, even if you just return to your friends.
That's right. You're Scyther in the Matrix.
Your usefulness to the rebellion is over. Do I flip at that point?
But to be honest, your usefulness to the rebellion's over if you die.
Yeah, but I mean it seems to be your option, right? Die or agree to be an agent. At that point, maybe it's time to retire being part of the rebellion, because you go back to the secret cave, you're just going to announce where the secret cave is just by going there.
Right.
It's kind of an in-between answer, but I don't know as if you have any other choice other than, just go, all right, I'm done. I mean, they know me, I'm a known figure. If I go back, I'm betraying my friends just by being a part of the rebellion anymore at all.
See, this is me being Leonardo DiCaprio right now.
Oh, Kyle, why don't you get that one out?
All right, so Grumpy Edgar says, what if they make Spags swallow a tracker?
No, read the whole thing.
Like the douche in Red Dawn.
I haven't.
You had to make me read that out loud.
Well, look at how you're dressed, sir.
How dare you?
Okay.
How dare you?
Well,
dare you?
if I go into being a collaborator with the attitude of being a double agent, then if they make me swallow something and tell me to walk towards the camp, I will obviously be leading them not towards the camp, into the trap. And at that point, you have to accept your fate.
Well, hang on. There's an alternate, because if you watch the second version, they didn't make him swallow a pill. They shot him in the ass with a tracker, and the black kid didn't realize it until he got there.
Yeah. The new version of the movie put an unknown factor in there.
In the new version, they just put like a dog tracker in
You
him.
become a pawn for both sides for the rest of time.
Thank you for pointing that out, G. I think that was G, most likely.
Yeah.
Thank you, G.
That was Grumpy.
Well, let's move on, shall we? So after we've solved the world's problems in the authoritarian, we're not going to take it anymore style, we're living in the general collapse of society, and society has collapsed due to the combination of all these disasters. So you have this opportunity to join a well-equipped and organized group, but they have very strict rules. They demand absolute obedience. Do you join this group for the safety and survival of you and your family, or do you try to make it on your own? They're well equipped. They've got all of the things, like the things that you want to live comfortably, like including good Charmin, like the 2-ply, not the John Wayne shit.
Ooh.
Mullen.
Like they have feminine hygiene products, bro.
They got mullen paper.
What are you gonna do, Callie?
Well, it's almost kind of, it's very similar to the last question in terms of, having to kind of comply and things like that. But I don't know. I think in an instance like that, I would be tempted to comply for long enough to maybe get what I needed and any intel so that I can then escape from it. So that I don't know.
So Sergeant
I'd
Spags
rather
is
not
double agent.
comply at all, but I don't know. That's a difficult one.
Absolute obedience is very absolute. Like who knows what that means? That could mean a lot of things.
I mean, once you're in there as well, you don't know what they're going to do to you to kind of make it really difficult for you to leave either at that point, once you're kind of in there.
Think Negan in the Apocalypse.
I
With
kind
harem
of
women.
am. Yeah, that's where I get most of my apocalypse stuff from, is The Walking Dead.
Yeah. think Negan with his harem and the one dude with the iron to the face.
I don't know. I would still be very tempted to kind of just to see if I could get some of their supplies and get myself out with a few more bits so that I could then get myself on and survive a little bit longer on my own, and in the hope that I found other nicer communities, I guess. I don't know.
That's a tough one. I can see that your gears are turning, and morally you're struggling with your answer. I can tell you're not sure. That's what you wanted to say, but you said it anyway. And that's what the point of this game is.
Yeah, because I don't want to comply. That's my thing, is I don't comply with anybody if I don't want to. But if I could play them and have them thinking they're playing me, like a double agent type of thing almost, it's as long as I'm aware and conscious of that's what I'm doing. But then my worry would be once I'm in there, maybe I can get out, or maybe I don't really like it. This is really easy. It's easy being told what to do.
My husband's working down in the boiler room with an iron on his face, but it's okay. I got feminine products. I'm good. I get to take a bath.
I learn new things about you every day.
Hey!
It's the hair.
Will, you look like you want to dive in here, Will. What do you got for me?
He's hungry.
Mm-hmm.
The temptation is to look at it with if I have others with me who are more vulnerable, this offer is more useful to me. However, my kind of thought process on that is the more vulnerable a person, the more tempting, obviously, all this stuff is, but also the easier for them to get flipped by this environment, regardless of what that looks like. Whether this is religious fanaticism, whether it's whatever, some form of idealized society that has the intention of turning you mentally to their methodology. The more vulnerable you are, the more tempting it will be to you. And as a leader of your group, regardless of what that leadership looks like, you are least likely to be the most vulnerable, at least hopefully. And as the leader of the group, I think it'd be your responsibility to say no, because you are the person who, though again it offers the least to you, it's also the least dangerous to you. For anyone to whom it offers more, it's also more dangerous. So
it's true. I believe comfort is a trap. Kyle, what do you got for me? Give me some magic.
I don't care what form it takes. I will never bend the knee to communism or socialist tendencies, and absolute obedience is exactly what that is. So never capitulate to evil. Ever.
Namaste. You have passed, my son.
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
Wait, what did you pass? A kidney stone?
What if I hold it this way? Does that look better?
Oh my goodness.
Quit scrubbing my house.
Joe Biden's in the house again.
What, Jesse? What?
I
It's
would go
about
guerrilla
pretentious.
warfare. It's a little small. I would go guerrilla warfare. You know where they're at. You know.
Did
that
we
they're
give
well
anybody
supplied.
a adult warning or a content warning on this? We probably should add. Oh wait, no, it's in the
Who's
thumbnail.
got the bullet bomb?
Did you not realize we're playing without rule of law?
This is an adult show. If your kids are watching, what kind of wait? You're a cool parent.
Maybe. Or you might need some help.
Possibly both.
We know a guy.
We know a
I
guy.
know a guy.
Okay, moving on from that little weird segue. Let's go into survival and ethics, shall we? So, you find a hidden cache of supplies that could save your group, but taking it would mean that you're going to leave another group in a bad way. Do you take the supplies and leave nothing for them? What do? It asks a very specific question. Do you take the supplies and leave nothing for them? What are you going to do, Jesse?
Well, I don't know that group. It is kind of a moral dilemma in that sense, but I don't know them. And if it's in like, if we're in survival mode, then survive.
Sorry about your luck,
That's
bro.
there. Sorry about my luck.
Yes, my man's.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Kyle, you going to leave any?
I'm not going to leave it. I'm not going to take it, is what I mean. I'm not going to take from the other group because that invites retaliation.
Maybe.
You're a horrible person.
Maybe.
I would find another way. I would strike up I would look for opportunity to barter. I would look for opportunity for donation. I would find a different way if at all possible. If it, at the end of life, it means the end of life, so be it. I know where I'm going at the end. So
Reminds me of the black dude that stole the shopping cart from the kid in the road.
Yeah.
Sergeant Specs.
If you have secret stashes all over the place, you're not putting them on your property, which means you have to understand there's a risk involved with caching your stuff elsewhere. I have caches all over the state of Kansas, and I absolutely have no expectation that they will be left alone. If I find your cache, I'm taking it. My family comes first. I'm feeding my family. Because I would expect you to do that to my cache. Like, if I've got something 300 miles away buried in a box under a tree, and I Andy Dufresne it and say, well, when I'm going down to Mexico, you're going to look for the black rock and the wall under the giant oak tree. I know someone else can find that. So I'm not caching anything I'm not willing to lose.
Yeah.
Those are emergency holdouts.
if it's isolated, if it's not manned, if it's not
Yeah, if it's not, if it's
Just like a geocache.
if
if
it's
it is, then
yeah.
yeah, take it.
Now,
But
if you're
it's
breaking
manned,
into my barn,
It doesn't say where you found it.
even the Bible says that no one blames a hungry man when he steals because he's hungry. So I think we have to take that into account here. It's not as cut and dry as I won't or I will take it. If you're starving, look, we're answering these questions as pampered Westerners.
yeah,
Your children have never known the thralls of hunger. You've never seen your kid with that little Ethiopian bloated belly on the Sally Struthers commercial.
Can't
When
even
your child is that hungry, you're going to steal to feed them, and that's just the reality of it.
Yeah.
I will steal to feed my child, and I'll take the consequences.
Melissa Etheridge isn't singing background music?
No, there's no Melissa Etheridge. I'm not getting, in the arms of an angel.
No,
No, I've
Sarah
walked.
McLachlan.
If I'm walking 500 miles to drop down at your door and I find food along the way,
How many miles?
5,000 this time.
I thought you said 500.
Well, I did, but the chorus goes on.
Would you
Oh,
buy?
yeah.
I'm just saying, man, I'm stealing your shit because my family comes first at the end of the day, and I will live with the consequences of what I've done.
It's a wonderful answer.
Even if
We will
you're
accept this
inviting them
answer.
upon your family.
I have an AR-15 for a reason, Kyle. It's not because I don't have 30 answers for that retaliation in my gun at any time.
Riverside Will.
Two things primarily, I would think. First, how readily can I tell to whom this belongs? Because if it's not like wildly apparent, it's if you come upon a well, would you not drink? There is a temptation to look at this as if it was just a public resource as a result of it just being more or less abandoned, because I do not know the status of the person who is Oh, hi. I read that. It went, oh, hey, I'm Knife Guy. That's right. I don't know the status of the... Yeah, hey, what's up? Hi, Ron. I don't know.
That's my son, by the way. For anyone there, he's like, "Hi, Knife Guy."
Yeah. That's what I'm called.
He's pretty fly for a knife guy.
I don't know the status of the person
I'm
who
out.
left this behind, right? So I don't know whether or not I can consider this
Dang.
true. The other side of it is like, I think that having the moral stance of being like, well, I'm not them and they aren't me, and thus I'll take it because it's free, right, is a level of moral degradation I don't know if I'm okay with at this point, because it's very, we've kind of fallen back from like everyone is universally more or less on an equal playing field, and I want to be treated as I would wish to be treated, and thus I will treat others how I would wish to be treated. That methodology of looking at cash with like, if it was mine and someone else found it, I'd be fine with it, I think is kind of like an okay level of reasoning. But at the end of the day, I'd look at it, I go, if I'm starving and I need it, I'll take it. If I'm not starving and I don't really need this and it's just extra stuff in my bag,
Yep. The
pass,
bunker in the road,
right?
Grumpy.
I was gonna say in the road, everyone's referencing the black guy with the cart in the road, but no one's referencing the guy and his son stealing the Coca-Cola and drinking it in the secret
Right.
bunker. So I mean, both are portrayed in that movie.
I think it's entirely dependent on how badly am I off at this point. Because if I'm looking at it, I'm going, I don't need this. Next guy along will be lucky to find it. I'll leave it for the next guy who needs it, right? Kind of like when you're looking at I'm sure we've all come across one of these instances where we're looking at something, we're like, sure, extra beans in my pile of beans, but if I need beans, I'm taking them, right?
Right.
So,
right.
Magic bean?
Yes.
Frank
Well,
the
yes. The verse in the Bible doesn't say a man doesn't blame a man for stealing to add to his already existing cash.
Yeah, exactly.
No one
Right.
blames a man for stealing when he's hungry.
Yeah.
Difference. Big difference.
And if it's a geocache, it's going to have a ledger who it belongs to.
It
Oh
will,
yeah,
and
you
how many
gotta
times
leave
it's been
something
found,
in there.
and- yes.
I'll take this stick, I'll leave it in there, and then I'll take all the food. Thank you, I left a stick, I did leave something.
I left the lock of my hair.
Oh God, they took my beans and left me a Pokemon card.
This is the worst trade ever. Okay, moving on. This is one of contention we ask at every camp out. Every festival sitting around the campfire, and this one gets so many people's hackles in a raise. It's always the question that inevitably ends in the literal shoot him in the face answer.
Here we go.
So here we go, gut wrencher, and I'm going to start with you, Mrs. Callie.
Okay.
You're on guard duty at the gate of your compound that you've joined recently, that you're going to be absolutely in lockstep obedient to, because you're a double agent, mind you, or at least you think you are. You hope you are. When a ragged-looking woman and two small, dirty, mixed-race children show up, telling you of a horrible situation they survived
Who's their daddy?
and are looking for a safe place to stay for the night with food and shelter. Your leaders have given direct orders not to feed anyone and to turn anyone away by means of force if necessary. She begs you to camp outside the gates and for a can of food for her children. What do you do? She promises she'll tell no one where she got it. And no one knows right now but you.
Oof.
If I'm a double agent, I'm already like skating on thin ice, or having to be very careful about things anyway. I'm already kind of taking risks and playing a dangerous game. I don't know, even if it was my compound with like the community I'm in now, and it was like I was there and I wanted to be there because that's what I believed in and everything. It's like morally, as a mother who's got children, it's like, but it's hard. I don't know. I honestly feel that I would probably be very tempted to like help as much as I could, as much as I could get away with it, because morally I don't think I'd be able to live with myself anyway if I didn't help, because I'd just be thinking about that forever. You know, if I turned them away and pushed them, like that would probably hurt me so much that like then they could do what they wanted me, punish me then. Like I don't know. But then have they been sent there? Like, is it real, or are they just like a lot of the people that use their children to go begging with and stuff like that? And it's hard to know, and it's hard to trust. And I think that's where discernment comes in. And like, I don't know, I'm quite an intuitive person, but there's always when so many things are kind of at stake there. It's like, it's I don't know. Or maybe I would speak to like the person in command of me and just be like, hey, look, like, I don't know, speak to them and try and figure out something. Maybe we were talking about this with Darren the other day, weren't we? About bringing people in and things like that, and what would he do? And he's like, and we spoke about how, well, maybe if we did take people in, like we put them in quarantine, we'd make sure that someone was watching over them, and we, you know, they'd be like almost in prison or something like that, you know, to kind of just keep on them until you could get to know like who they were, and just to make, I don't know, a time where it's safe. But I mean, maybe she could barter something, but I don't know if she's that, I don't know what she'd have, you know, to barter in that sense.
It says your leaders expressly told you to turn everyone away by force if necessary.
But did they mean everybody? It's like, I don't know. Oh God.
So that means you either disobey a absolute obedient rule, or you capitulate and you, as you
Risk everything
for a can of corn.
Do I have the can of corn on me right now, or have I got to go get it?
Doesn't matter.
Because if I got the can of corn, I could just throw it. Like, there you go, throw it in the woods.
Because you're a prepper and you do what you want.
It's so hard to know whether or not it's like you being ambushed. Is it like you know, is it someone just coming out doing intel and stuff? Is it a trap? Is it real? Like, and it's so, I guess in those situations, you know, you almost want to be like, well, survival of the kind of fittest type of thing, or survival of the people that can, you know, adapt. And that's a hard one, because I'm tempted, honestly, like morally I'd be tempted to disobey in that sense, because morally, but would I be willing to take what punishment could come to me because of that? And maybe she's not even who she says she is, so it's like, that's a toughie. Shoot him in the face, all three of them. Problem
Bam!
Careful, you'll get us canceled. It is still YouTube.
Will, you look like you want to comment.
I have a question. I have a question.
Sure.
Would your answer change in any way because you said two things, as mother with children, and you would potentially consider talking to a superior. You go to the superior, they say, cool, yeah, you can feed them 100%. Every ration that you give to them will be taken out of yours and your children's rations.
Oh.
Does that change your answer, or is it still?
It would change my answer depending on how much I had. You know, and what kind of rations are we getting? I mean, we talking like one cracker a day, and it's like, you know.
Presumably we're light, right? Because we're at a point where we're saying we can't feed outsiders, right? Presumably we're at a point where we don't have enough food that we can attract in new people using food as a method. So we've gotten to a point where we're rationing in some way.
Yeah, and ultimately as well, like 3 people, you know, an adult and 2 children, they're going to require a lot to survive. So even if I give them a little bit, is that really going to get them any much further anyway? Like, would it not then just end up being a waste of time anyway? Because like that's not going to really sustain them. They're just going to die anyway. Like, so it's
It's true. It's true.
It's a toughie. It's hard because like you have to get almost as much as you don't want to get back to like caveman days where you just go around like bashing each other. There does come a kind of, you do have to kind of, you try and hold on to your morals and ethics, but when it really comes down to it, when the power goes off and the grid goes down, like Darren was talking the other day, he's like, my neighbour's nice to me because he's got power and water. Like if it all went off, he wouldn't be nice to me. He'd be in here trying to rob me. And that's the nature of, you know, and he said, so you are, because other people, you may want to keep your morals as much as you want to keep them, but other people are going to kind of, and you might not want to match them and stuff, but you have to you can't just be a walkover either, and you can't just be like, I don't know, things are going to go south, and people are going to do, like, when you send people to war, they don't come home because of war, they come home because they did things they never thought they would ever do. And that's kind of what really hurts people and what damages people. And so there is going to come a time maybe where we have to do things that maybe we don't want to do, but it comes down to, like, it becomes very black and white and
Survival.
Yeah. And if it's survival and it's a case of we actually don't have enough food, I'm sorry, I'm really sorry, we don't have enough food, and I'll pray for you, but I can't, I'm sorry, like,
Fair.
it would kill me, but you know, like, my community does have to come first, because there's too many what ifs with that woman and her children. There's too many what ifs and variables that I have no idea about, whereas I know where I'm at. So
that answer is acceptable, but it took you a long time to get there. You had to morally obligate yourself to come full circle to realize that the ultimate answer was tell her no or shoot her in the face.
I have a much easier answer.
Sir?
If I'm told I'm not allowed to give away the corn, then I don't give away the corn. But if it's creamed corn, I'm doing my group a favor by getting the shit out of out of the stash. Give all the creamed corn away. Keep the baby kernels for yourself.
Like, why do people even eat cream corn? What do you use cream corn for?
You don't use creamed corn. Nobody eats that.
That's like the minced corn that's left over in the slop tray that you feed to your pigs, right?
I wouldn't know. I don't feed that to my pigs.
It greases the turd.
Does it?
I don't know.
All right, fair enough.
See, every prepper group can learn here. You store up a bunch of corn for you and your people, but you store up a bunch of cream corn to give away. Trust me, they're not coming back, no matter how hungry they are.
She's like, but there's no nutrients in corn, sir.
It doesn't matter. It tastes so much better. Those kids are kicking their mom. Why'd you give us cream corn?
Because it's got sugar in it.
Kyle, are you gonna feed the girl and the mixed children?
No. I think contextually, if you're given an order and you're manning a gate, you're given an order. Period. It's if you weigh it out, the consequences of giving away food or any resource when you're commanded not to versus accepting punishment for doing so, it's not worth it. And frankly, in that context, you know, if you really are that hard up as a group, orders are meant to be followed. If you can't be trusted with simple orders, you can't be trusted with more complex orders. So no, I wouldn't. As hard as it would be, I'd try to shoo her off or send her off to the next camp and let her try to be another camp's problem.
Don't feed the bears.
Yeah,
It's fair. It's fair. Your answer is acceptable.
thank you.
it would kill you.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Oh man, this just got hippie.
All right. So looking at that in a different light,
Dude, she's got mushrooms in the background.
I mean,
Oh, Matt's in the house.
hey, Matt.
Let's see what Matt has.
What do you got, Matt? Come around the campfire, you ask, what if the woman and children are your relatives? Oh, yeah, that was another dynamic. Yes.
Oh man, if they're your relatives, you screwed up making your prepper group to begin with.
Maybe. If they just stumbled across you, I mean, it's common that you have cousins that live in the area, aunts, uncles.
Which
et
side
cetera.
or which race?
It's true.
Obviously, the white side, you can't trust them.
Well, I mean, have you seen a trailer park these days? It doesn't have to be that way.
Well, I've seen Trailer Park Boys, and man, that's a great show. Go Canada on that one. You did well.
Really? Seriously? Come back with that. Okay, so moving on. In a post-apocalyptic world, you encounter a group of raiders that live across the street from you, conveniently, who are known for their brutality. They offer you protection in exchange for joining their ranks and participating in their raids. Do you join them and survive, or do you risk what happens after you tell them no?
Restate the question.
Why are they right across the street from you? Was that in WROL? When you look at your housing, you have to buy the house and it say right across the street from a group of raiders?
Very specifically. Yes. They live in the other apartment building.
Local amenities include group of raiders.
Honey, look, honey, there's lots of room for the dogs. The kids will be in a great school district. And by the way, right across the street is a really group of great raider families.
Across the road. Across the road.
They want to come be our friends.
Who wrote that?
So what do you do? Do you join them and survive, or do you risk what happens next after you tell them no?
I want to know who was like, there's a raider camp. I'm putting right here.
Maybe they thought it was a peaceful place like Cali, and she could
Oh
join
yeah,
in and
with
subvert
skull
them.
decor, sure.
Maybe they were evacuated after Hurricane Katrina.
Hey, Cali thought she could get in and
Wow,
She thought she-
wow.
Oh my God! Wait a minute, Kelly.
Wow.
I just realized that you thought you could join that group and change them. How womanly of you!
Oh my God. Right, yeah.
I'm a different
Great.
looking
Better.
I can fix
Oh
that.
my God! No! How did we end up here? Order!
Do this more.
Order!
Wow.
Well, what are you going to do? Are you going to join them? Or are you going to face the wrath of Xerxes?
I mean, it kind of sounds fun, but I get probably not. I mean, the raider is going to be relying upon a non-sustainable methodology of surviving. It's ultimately self-destructive. It sounds like the prepper dream, at least as much as it's been described. You are Mad Max. You are gonna run around taking stuff. It's gonna be cool. We're gonna put on our plate carriers and get our AF-15s and go kick indoors.
AF-15.
Our area 15s?
Hey,
AR-15s, man.
One of those.
Wow.
But you're ultimately preying on the weakest people that you can find, because you're acting in a predatory manner, and it is non-sustainable because you will destroy the environment that you're relying on.
Yes, it says this group is particularly brutal,
Yeah,
and they're known for their brutality.
It's. I would say no, although I got to admit it's the Mad Max dream. I got to admit, but I'd say no.
You're gonna love that brutality. It's the greatest brutality.
Do I get a cool car?
I think you get a nice jacket and a baseball bat.
You get a cool motorcycle. Does that
Say witness me.
That's only at the end.
Oh, okay.
It's the coolest car.
We issue a free axe to all of our raiders. It's the best axes.
Yeah, what comes in the
best
package?
blacksmith
Yeah,
makes.
right.
them.
What's in the welcome committee? What do they give for joining this HOA?
I don't know. It's got to be pretty decent, though. I'm thinking. I mean, brutality comes with perks, right?
You get 2 guns and 1,000 bullets.
We're gonna build a wall between us and the Raiders, and we're gonna get the Raiders to pay for it.
Yes.
All of the brutality that it comes with the perks of being brutal.
I just have to ask, where do we get to a point where we decide to pitch our tent right across the street from the Raiders? Like, I reject this question. It doesn't happen. I'll take things that don't happen in the apocalypse for 1,000, Alex.
Order!
Ah!
All I'm saying, there were refugees from New Orleans. Like, FEMA's got their backs, and they're probably pretty good.
USAID will rescue them. We don't have to.
There's not a lot of door kickers that come out.
Wow.
I'm just assuming that the Raiders were once called FEMA.
Dude, those people are literally the lowest bidders. Like, I will join them just to take their stuff and
Local
get
British.
It very well could be. Yes.
Oh man.
Okay, fair enough.
This question is nuts.
Brought to you by.
Pistachios.
My God.
Moving on. Okay, so here's a good one. What are the 3 most important skills you think you'd need to survive in a long-term disaster, Will? 3 most important.
Wait.
Oh,
Yeah. Is he answering as a man or a woman?
Well, he's answering as a man. As a man.
Because the answers will be different.
Well, he's answering as a man in a white wig, obviously,
Okay,
right
just
now.
checking.
yeah.
Well, I'm not going to Crocodile Dundee you, but I'm pretty sure you're a dude.
Yeah, no, I mean, procurement of light and heat as best as you can, procurement of food, procurement of water. With those three things, you'll probably be fine.
What are the
Do you want
three
a fun
important skills?
Skills. Oh,
Skills.
skills. The three most important skills. Yeah, no, I mean making the fire is pretty decent. Being capable of taking something that is living and turning it into something that's good for eating. Being dead in my belly. It's a little more than just kill it. You gotta cut it up nice and then cook it so it doesn't make you give you food poison. There's a couple steps in there.
It's a good movie, Grumpy.
Taking water that I don't know about that, and making it so that I don't get some horrible illness. There you go. There's the three things, more or less.
Callie?
I don't know if I'm being a bit vague, but resilience, would that be classed as a skill?
Technically, I guess it can be.
Because I think that's something you definitely need. You need to have resilience and adaptability, and also the ability to be able to harvest what you need. Like Will was saying, that's definitely shelter, food, and water are the most important things. With if you have those, then you're pretty much set. But there has to be a level of resilience, or at least tenacity as well, and those you have to have those kinds of, I guess they're character traits really more than skills. But hunting, knowing how to gather water and clean it, and knowing how to build shelter.
Fair. Kyle?
Basic necessities, skills for basic necessities. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in agreement with Callie and Will on this. Knowing how to procure water and clean it and contain it, knowing how to. I don't think it's just about harvesting food. It's about knowing how to regenerate it, how to make it. Harvest seeds, grow new plants. Feed grows new animals. Animals make babies. That sort of thing. Dinner makes more dinner. Basically. And then, if I could only pick three, I don't want to go marching around the woods in a loincloth or anything, but I would actually prioritize things like medicine over shelter, because I think you can always hook up on a tree for at least a little while.
That's fair. Sergeant Spags?
Those are all great answers, but you're all wrong.
Okay.
There are three things you have to be able to do to survive the apocalypse. You have to be able to start a cult, you have to be able to command a cult, and you have to be able to maintain a cult. These are the only answers. This is what got us past the Bronze Age. We're cults. Just saying.
Gotcha.
So what if your
That's an acceptable answer.
If your cult fails, do you just sacrifice the cult and then go start another one?
That's what the Kool-Aid's for. Duh, didn't you
I was
read
going to say, you drink the Kool-Aid at that point.
Invite the Raiders
Creating
from across the
Kool-Aid.
street.
Magic
Like
Kool-Aid,
traders
tarot cards, astrology, and a great sense of body hygiene.
Okay.
That's all you
Are
need.
they Kool-Aid Raiders?
Next time, we're all going to wear purple tracksuits, okay?
I feel like I should be busting through a brick wall going, oh yeah!
Yes. I would pay to see that.
You know what? Next time on Without Rule of Law, brought to you by Kool-Aid.
Oh my goodness.
So, you have a limited supply of fuel. Do you use it to travel around to potentially safer location? Because where you're at now is very dangerous, living within proximity across the street from the fucking Raiders.
No shit.
Or do you conserve your fuel and stay there and drive around locally looking for supplies until you run out?
Burn the Raider camp to the ground.
Yeah, there's my man right there. We were waiting for that answer. I don't even have to answer this. Shoot them in the
They've
face.
already
I would
raided
just
everywhere.
burn the
They've
Raiders
already
to the
raided the
ground.
neighborhood, so they have everything already there.
So you get in there and get what they've got.
Yeah. Or you start a fire off to the side, so they get all freaked out and panicked, and they all run over there. Then you raid them, and then when they come back and realize what's happened, you brutally shoot them in the face.
Yeah. We're raiding the Raiders.
Yeah.
We're raid the Raiders. Raid the Raiders.
Raiders. Raid the Raiders. Raid
Is it really considered raiding if you're just, or would you be Robin Hood, taking their stuff back and giving it back to the people from whence it was stolen?
Robin Hood.
Robin Hood.
Robin of Locksley.
Robin Hood or Trump?
Robin of Topeka.
Hey,
I mean, Locksley, that's way over there. Or Robin of, Riverside, Missouri. I mean, we could be Robins everywhere.
it's true.
Mar-a-Lago.
Mar-a-Lago Robins, the greatest Robins, the biggest Robins, the plumpest Robins.
All the
Got a
ladies.
big orange hat.
Riverside Will, what are you gonna do?
This is a question about fuel. Sorry, I got a little lost in the raiding the Raiders thing.
He's still hung up on raiding.
Raid the Raiders.
Man, Canada, you don't stand a chance, bro.
Well, I mean, once we kill the Raiders, who cares? I mean, then we don't have to go anywhere. We can just hang out here. We don't have to drive anywhere. All the stuff's right there.
We're going on Panama.
On a trying to answer the actual question as read. Unless your situation is so truly untenable that you cannot stay, it's always better to stay where you are.
He's as serious as a colonial.
That stated, kill the Raiders. That's the best answer. I agree with him.
I was waiting, Will. You were about to get the buzzer, but you redeemed yourself at the end.
He
That's
got
an acceptable
so
answer.
serious.
Acceptable answer. All right, let's go to a different line of questioning here. So, in the next version of the pandemic, it's going to be very, very helpful to have somebody with tinctures and medicinal knowledge in your group.
This is staged.
Hint, hint, wink, wink.
Oh my God.
Yep.
I'm so sorry for what's about to happen, folks.
So, a new highly contagious and deadly virus has emerged.
Did they say?
They call it this one COVID-20.
Ooh. Sounds yummy.
The government quarantines your city, area, county, and state, but you have a chance to escape with a small group beforehand. Do you leave, potentially spreading the virus, or do you stay, risking infection and containing it with your tinctures?
Is there really a virus there? Is that just what they're telling you? Because they told me that before in England, which was like a petri dish, and I still didn't know no one that got it. So is there actually a virus? Is it a real thing?
I still haven't gotten it.
Yeah, we got to find that in the question. Is there a real virus in this question?
Hey, don't question the science, Kelly. Don't question the science.
Science.
Jeez.
Science.
Put the mask on. It's fuzzy. It works.
Wow.
So, I mean, if there was genuinely a virus, which honestly, I mean, the COVID-19 thing, there was genuinely something going around, but I don't think it was what they said it was. And it really only affected the people that were already sick. So that kind of says something. If you have comorbidities like that, then get your house in order and sort yourself out rather than, eat donuts, go to the gym. But of course they closed those and fed you donuts. So if there is actually a virus, I mean, I wouldn't want. I mean, they tried to quarantine. Well, they tried to shut us in last time in England, and we didn't. We went to France. We did what we wanted. But I mean, it would depend if there was a real virus and there was actually a risk of like transferring it and stuff. But also, I do have a lot of answers to a lot of viral thingies. So like, I can also like actually help people, and I would probably be tempted to go, because if I happen to spread something to somebody else, then I'll just make them better, and then it's all good. And then I'm okay. But I would be inclined to leave, because I'm not living under, like, you're not shutting me in. It's not going to happen. And I have enough medicine and enough knowledge and enough knowledge to regenerate that medicine as well. So it's like I'll have constant resources. Yeah, I reckon I'd go, and I'd take people with me, those that didn't want to be there. I mean, it would also depend on like how bad the quarantine was, right? Like, was it like it was the lockdown? Because that was pretty lax. Like, we could still do
No. It's like in the Wuhan lockdown, like where they're barring your door.
They did in Australia, like where they put people in camps and stuff. Oh, I'm going. I'm not. I'm more like, no, I'm off. I'll go on my own if I have to. Like, if people don't want to come with, I'm not living like that.
This is how you stay, and you end up living across the street from a Raider camp.
Right?
Well, because I'd be more worried at that point. If they've got you in a camp like that, then when they bring out their new vaccine, they're going to force that upon you. And I'm not having that either. No way am I having that. You're not forcibly injecting me. So I'm already going before that can even happen. I'll
Are
go
the
and I'll
Raiders
take
on
the
your
chances.
side of the fence or the other side?
Yeah, where are the Raiders? They're dead. They got burnt to death.
Yeah, we
Yeah, I
burned
took
them
care of
already.
that.
Yeah.
We're good.
With the
Yeah,
rest
he
of the
got us.
fuel.
I would make the argument that if it was a real virus, you wouldn't have the ability to make the choice to begin with. If you
Yeah,
have the ability
real
to make the
sick.
choice to stay or leave, it's probably because you're not that sick.
Yeah.
If you're really sick, you're going to be in the bed, especially us. We're going to be like, oh, baby. Oh, honey, please make me some chicken noodles.
dying. I think
Oh, is this what it's like to give birth?
Will you
Oh,
feel my
my God.
head? Does it feel like I have a
We
fever?
know how every guy in the prepperverse would be if you were really sick and you're not making any decisions. Your wife's in the other room rolling their eyes, watching reruns of Sex and the City. Let's not kid ourselves now. Man flu.
That's a true
No,
story.
seriously, if it's a real virus, you don't even have the choice to make at all. You're bedridden. So like, I think that answers the question for the whole thing. If you're actually sick, you're in bed. You're not leaving. You're not strapping on your 45-pound rucksack of prepper tools that Amazon told you to buy in the first place. I think it's kind of a moot point.
It's fair.
Yeah.
From China.
It's fair.
Back from China.
Will,
And
you
I
look like
certainly
you
You
want to
guys
weigh
are
in?
missing the most obvious point. You got to go get a plague doctor mask. That's step one. Okay?
Oh, I got one
yeah.
of those.
Step one. All
I
right.
got one.
Step two, go plague doctor it up. All right. Go everywhere. Oh, you're sick? Oh, I got you. I found these things out in the woods. It will solve all of your problems.
Yes,
Trust me,
Don't
I'm wearing a
let
plague
your
doctor
shit-
mask. I know what I'm doing.
I will accept the plague doctor answer as the final answer.
Plague doctor answer?
Plague
Your
doctor.
answer is acceptable. All right. We're going to do one more.
If you guys thought this was going to be a serious show where you'd be able to fix your preps, you were wrong.
Hey, whoa. That was legitimate advice. You need to have a plague doctor mask, okay? How else are you going to plague doctor it up?
That was the only mask I actually wore during the pandemic.
We're going to do one more and then we're going to call it an evening. So you're in a flourishing group and you hold regular meetings and every detail isn't quite worked out yet. The current leadership is passively working behind the scenes to implement their will. But when the outspoken group members inside the group question the leader, they often lash out emotionally and neurotic. You suspect something is wrong and not quite right about the situation, and you're noticing things that might seem off. What do you do about this situation to know for sure if you should stay or go? Jesse, what do you do?
You can't just go to shooting him in the face.
No. No, I think a tea party would be in order.
That will make him tell the truth.
Well, it
You'll
would.
Welcome
find
to
out.
America.
Everyone would realize that we are
Callie,
all
we
one,
accept you
we
in
are
your
all
family.
connected, and they would have to be absolutely honest.
Ah,
Couldn't lie
huzzah!
to me then.
I had a feeling we'd mention tea party at some point.
That was kind of what
I
I
got
was
real
waiting for this moment.
For the other question with the suspicious wounded, I was like, I'll just feed him MDMA. He'll soon tell me the truth whether he did it himself or not. Like that's what I was gonna say. But yeah, I mean, get everyone around for tea party because I don't know. Council, we have to hold council, I guess. That's it's your answer. You're holding a tea
I was
party.
ready for a different tea party. I showed up dressed for a different tea party.
You notice things
Not the
are getting
Boston
a little
Tea Party.
squirrely, Jesse. How do you flesh out the situation? How do you find out what's really going on?
Death of 1,000 cuts.
Okay.
You'll find out. You'll find out through one of the cuts whether or not they're being truthful and honest. I reckon. If we're going, just going a little dark with
I
it.
don't know what you mean by that.
Yes,
Torture.
explain.
Torture. Oh, straight
Just-
to the torture. Jesus Christ, who have I picked an apocalypse partner?
You're like serious. You're like going all Sonny Pacific on this guy with like a.
Wow. I'm going to start
Tiny
calling you
little Raider.
Gitmo when I see you.
It would just keep me occupied for a long time.
When I introduce
They would have to be perfectly
When I introduced
parallel.
Callie and Jesse on the stage in the spring, because by the way, folks, if you haven't known, Callie and Jesse are going to be on the stage this spring giving a presentation. I'm going to introduce them as Callie and her husband Gitmo.
I don't know if I want to. I'm
Choke-
not sure I'm safe
Choke hold and
anymore.
get mode.
Yes.
No cut.
I'm not doing this
Chokehold
for
and
you.
Gitmo. That's your stage name now.
Yes.
All right. I'll take it.
You in a choke hold. Wait.
Well, he's going to cut you.
Wow.
Oh, damn. We're going to change his name to Goat.
Chokehold
No,
and
because then
Gitmo,
she'll
yeah.
kill me. No.
Ooh, Jesse's the Goat.
Wow.
Yeah, buddy.
Look, what you two do it later is your business.
Do I need to change the thumbnail for this? It says NC-17 on
Man,
there.
we might.
Man,
We might.
it's got adult.
Will, what are you going to do in this situation? The normal leader is seeming neurotic and making strange decisions and is getting very emotional and angry when he's challenged or they're challenged. She's challenged. What do you do? How do you flesh this situation out?
I mean, we could just shoot him in the face.
Fair?
It's a lot faster than torture.
It's only one cut.
On a legitimate answer, I don't know. Pull him aside, talk to him. It's what I do in everyday life when I'm dealing with a leader that seems to be struggling. A lot of the burdens they're carrying are not yours, and you don't know what they're carrying right now.
That's where the
Yeah.
team comes in.
Yeah, might just literally just be they just need to sort some stuff out. I was ready for a different tea party. I showed up for a different tea party, guys. You said tea party, I got excited. I was ready to dump some stuff into a harbor. Very different thing. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to just talk about emotions or garbage like that. No, I just want to chuck some stuff into a harbor.
Yeah, but like they say Kansas dried up a couple million years ago. So like we're not an ocean anymore.
I thought it was all about echinacea, maybe some goji berry, perhaps some cranberry and some tangerine.
And some plantain.
Oh my God! Wrong tea party.
Yeah, sorry. This is not one of those. It's not like a Starbucks tea party. It's more like a Kansas tea party.
I don't know what that is.
Pre-state.
We have Milo here and corn. I mean, oh yeah, that's gonna taste fine.
Kyle, what are you gonna do? How are you gonna handle this?
I'm gonna start digging. If there's
Neuroticism and anger.
yeah,
Lashing out.
there are clear signs that something is off. They're not getting their way, and there's a reason behind it. So I'm gonna seek understanding. I want to know. I want to get them to tell me what they're doing. I'm going to try and have frank conversations as I can with them, but I'm not stopping there. I'm going to go to everyone they know. I'm going to go to other people in the community, and I'm going to ask their opinion. And I'm going to start digging, and I'm going to look for trends and patterns, and then I'm going to lean on my own my instincts, my discerning spirit, things like that, and to help make the decision on whether or not it's worth staying or going. Because if something's not right, there's always a cause for it. Sometimes it's innocent. As a leader myself, sometimes it's
Stress,
you got to
pressure.
understand the burden that they're under, and you got to give them some grace.
Mhm.
It always starts with grace,
Amen.
but you don't stop there. You got to get to the root of it.
It's a true story. That's a simple
really quick
answer, although it's a kind of that was a pretty straight answer.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, I got to agree with Matt here and just give them a Snickers.
Yes.
Ooh,
No
They
one's
may be turning
themselves.
into Betty White.
No one's themselves when they're hungry.
It's a true story.
There
True
is on
story.
that
Matt-
same level a 3-step plan. Pull them aside privately between you, one other person at least, like a small assembly. Talk to them, and then if that doesn't work, bring them before the full assembly. That is the 3-step plan.
Yeah.
It's prescribed in a specific book that's pretty good.
No work in the apocalypse. It's a good answer. We'll take that answer. Sergeant Spax?
Again, I think it's very easy to answer this in a nuanced way when we're all fed and warm.
Mm.
I think cold and hungry changes everything. And I would almost promise you that cold and hungry will form alliances and cooperation very quickly.
Mhm.
The people at Jamestown, after starving for a few months, shirked off the shackles of communalism for a more free market system very quickly. Because again, every decision in life is an economic decision, and it's all fine and good to spout off and be angsty and bitchy and moany and whiny when you're not hungry. But the minute you're cold and hungry, the dynamic changes very quickly. The minute your children become cold and hungry, the dynamic changes very quickly. And I would almost bet that most of these interpersonal issues would work themselves out very, very quickly, that snakes in the grass would be found very, very quickly, and that you would find that a world without the rule of law would absolutely make it actually easier to be discerning in what the right decisions are, based on the fact that everyone will operate in self-interest. And when everyone's self-interest is warmth and satiation of starvation, you will work together.
Generally speaking, that's an acceptable answer. Well, this has been an entertaining and eye-opening evening, I'm sure, for all of you in the crowd this evening, except Jules, because she knows all of these answers. She kind of wrote the book. Thank you for being in the crowd this evening, Jules.
Love you, Jules.
Matt, you're in the crowd.
Matt, you're awesome.
I saw Grumpy G, Tammy P.
Tammy. A lot of
Who
good
else is in there? Sam Russell was in the crowd
Saw
tonight.
Sam. Yep.
A handful of thank you all so much for being with us this evening. We know you could have done a lot of other things like watch the Grammys or sports ball or something. I don't know.
That was last night.
Was that last night? I can't keep up with it anymore. It's bread and circuses, right?
Yes.
But beyond that, thank you to our wonderful guests, the lovely Miss Kelly and Mr. Jesse, and their lovely friend.
To the dog.
Get
I
over
hope
here.
Nick didn't get goated. We haven't heard from him in a while.
He's passed out.
Wake up, boy.
Thank you to our illustrious panel, the ever coherent Riverside Will,
Yes, sir.
our man in the chair, Kyle, and Sergeant Spags. From all of us this evening, we bid you a fond adieu. Thank you for spending your evening with us, and we will catch you the next time.
Next month, another episode of Without Rule of Law with another surprise guest.
Be here, be square, tune in, check the replay. Thank you all very much. Love you and have a great night.
Look, I'm still a man!